Hi, I'm Jazz. I have thoughts and feelings about this film that we're about to talk about, but let the rest of the crew introduce themselves.
Hello. Hi, I'm Bendy. I go by she, they, and I am a talent manager at Frederator Studios. I also write and do panel stuff for Fandom Spotlite. I'm a cosplayer, and I loved this movie top to bottom, so let's go.
Oh, we're already starting off with oppositions, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. Obviously, everyone that knows me knows that I'm a self-publisher as well as an educator. Phenomenological narratologist is the term. That's the $1 million word on the card right there. I'm using that one all the time. But I've got a lot of thoughts in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything and have Jazz beat me up or nothing. So
I am Mr. Matthew Porter, as you can see by the name on the screen. Today I am Matt Man. Shout outs to Hollow Man Gigs. And I am host of the Ether podcast, co-host of the Dragon Ball for Life podcast, with part of the quartet of the Come Get Us podcast. So I am affectionately now known as Tripod Poppy, double entendre. Don't ask me how.
Triple entendre, bro.
Triple entendre.
Triple. It's a tripod. Get it right now.
Don't ask me how. And I loved every second of this movie. I'm a Batman stan. And I also love Robert Pattinson. And I have a theory about people who don't like this movie, about how they feel about Robert Pattinson.
So maybe we should start out with that theory then.
Yeah. Let's start with Rob.
I feel like a lot of people who don't particularly enjoy his performance are only people who are exposed to like his mainstream movies, like Twilight, Water for Elephants and stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you've ever seen like The Lighthouse or Good Time's like one of my favorite movies. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. But if you have experience with his range as an actor, this shit's super on brand for him. And I feel like he bodied it.
He did. Honestly, I think
3 hours.
People who are so adamantly against Twilight, now granted, the author was problematic and there's a lot of things wrong with it, but a lot of people it's like people who hate
Nickelback.
It's like people.
Was that really it? I just guessed.
No, see, people they get on this hype train of hate and they hate Nickelback the same way they hate Twilight. And honestly, the last two movies were fire. I don't know if anyone's seen that fight scene.
The fight scene almost had me.
The fight scene, you got
Yo, Team Alice all day.
It had people kind of forget exactly what that was and just kind of flow into this Twilight. We hate that, and it's no, there's so much more.
I mean, I have to agree with both of you on that subject. I was basically forced to watch the Twilight series by a friend because she was just like, "You need to watch this and laugh your ass off at it with me." And I mean, it was terrible. Going into it and expecting it to be terrible, it was hilarious. And I mean, I'm not going to get into Twilight, but I know what these guys are thinking right here. I was not particularly 100% on this movie train of the Batman, but I will say Robert Pattinson's performance was on fire for sure.
Wow, so I'm odd man out. Really? I'll take it. Here's the thing. It's not that I thought he was bad, but he was the worst in this movie. That's what I'm saying. They're in terms of the layer.
I was about to fight you on that. He was the worst Batman. I'm
no. What I'm saying is
the best Batman.
Right. I mean, he was fantastic
in this film.
Yeah.
I got you.
Just made him the lowest tier dude on the whole film. Everybody else, I was just every time they're on screen, yes. Him, I was serviceable, very well done, but you are getting bodied right now by every other person that you interact with.
Did you happen to catch a lot of his non-verbals that were kind of alluding to how much trauma that they were really trying to portray with this Bruce Wayne?
Saw it more the second time around. So
that's what I appreciated most about his performance is that he did such a good job just in his looks, the way that he would look at Catwoman or the way that he would look at Alfred. You can tell that this is a deeply flawed and damaged person, and he nailed that. And that's something that we haven't truly seen on screen with Batmans before this.
1,000,000%.
I was like, Rob did it. Thank you. Understood the assignment.
That's why I did. I'm not going to say loved this movie, but that's what I loved about this movie is that it went dark. One of my favorite films as a kid was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was originally a darker film compared to the second one, which was great. And I love seeing those darker stories of these characters that we've grown up with. And I mean, I really did appreciate that. Although I kind of did have a problem with Bruce Wayne's hair because it was giving me serious Spider-Man.
I was like, there's like
give it more Winter Soldier. That's more where I was going for. But that's also into why I look at his performance the way that I do, because again, Bendy, you're absolutely right. He nailed the quiet trauma so well. I don't know that he's the only person that could have done that. And that's the one thing that I really was looking for out of Robert in this one was, why are you the Batman?
Right.
As opposed to anybody else.
Yeah, like Timothy Charmander or
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet. I can't with his name. I pronounce it wrong every time. Yeah. Timothy Champagne Showers, like he could have got in there.
Right.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
Shalom.
Go ahead, say it. Shalom alaikum. I knew you was gonna say it.
Get out my head, dog.
Up until now, I felt like all the directors that have done modern, not where the 80s Batmans were, but with the Batman Begins and all of that, it felt like they were trying too hard to make Bruce Wayne. I mean, actually, even with the other ones, like parallels of Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, if you're looking at a DC versus Marvel. And Bruce Wayne is not a Tony Stark. And before this, we've got this like billionaire playboy. And now we have this like very dark detective, like actually solving crimes and freaking failing. So it's like,
miserably.
It was so good to see him fail. Because like even in the comic of year one, like you see Batman falling on the ground, like hitting like on his ass. And it's like, oh, cool. Yay, he's trying his best.
Yeah, and I remember that particular when he was like flying through the air. I'm like, damn, this is Batman. Okay,
he almost died.
That prototype.
I'm not like well versed in the comics in the comic verse. I'm a fan of the films. Well, most of them. So I don't know like all of the stories of the Batman.
We got recommendations. We'll give you.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's actually
did he just crash and burn? Seriously, I could not help but just kind of chuckle at that. I mean,
I laughed so hard I cried. I was like, this is the Batman I want to see. I want to see him failing. I want to see the awkwardness. I want to see people looking at him like, what are you doing? Like that was good.
To Bendy's point, probably one of my favorite things of the movie is like how he hasn't figured out that like Bruce Wayne, the character, serves a purpose. Like he's a major dick to everybody outside of the costume in this movie. Like when he was like to Alfred, "You're not my dad," I was like, "Watch your mouth, young man."
Right, he raised you, son. Sir, he's been your dad longer than he wasn't. What are you talking about? When he gave him the cufflinks, he was just like, "Are you a Wayne?" I was like, "Yo, you're a prick, dog. Like, what the fuck is your problem?" But I love that he hasn't figured out that like Bruce Wayne, the character, serves a purpose. Like he can like schmooze his way into places where Batman can't. Like you were saying, Bendy, like how they try to Clooney him up in all the other movies, like Billionaire Playboy and
I'm
stuff.
so glad that you brought that up because I was watching, I believe it was Good Morning America. Robert Pattinson was talking about this film, obviously. And they had mentioned that when he was working on the audition that he was wearing the Clooney suit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I heard that, I was like, one of the worst Batmans. And he's wearing the suit of that guy. Oh.
I mean, he had the Amex card. My man had the black card.
But listen, if
that
you can convince somebody you're Batman in that suit, you are Batman.
Yes.
Yeah. You are.
Yeah. It was a whole different vibe, though. And also, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Batman's, like, actually has a superpower at one point, and that he is the world's greatest detective. And that is something we haven't truly seen on screen. So it's like Clooney, it's like, oh, I'm a playboy and like I can schmooze anywhere. And like that's been the vibe. And now it's completely shifted with emo Batman.
Bully Batman.
Bully Batman.
Honestly, like Batman. When he's like rolling around on his motorcycle, I could just hear My Chemical Romance. Like that should have been the song that played as the Black Parade. Like that missed opportunity.
Not for nothing though. Okay, I will admit, visually speaking, I was bothered by Bruce Wayne's tattered t-shirt. Now this is silly, but it goes right into what you were talking about, Matt, where he hasn't fully embraced the Bruce Wayne side yet, right? Like he is the Batman. That's just who he is. He hasn't created the persona that is Bruce Wayne. Because I'm like, sir, you're a billionaire. I need you to get a clean shirt. I need you to have a clean shirt on a little bit more regular. Like, come on. But I mean, it's a comfort shirt. I get it. It's a comfort tee.
Get a job, Grouch.
Yeah, like, come on, man. or maybe like considering all the Gothic, architecture in his house, he just snagged it every day on the same thing. Because that house
on all the stuff.
Listen, how could you be a child and live in that house? I would have nightmares regularly.
I'd be
The
so happy
shadows
in that
would
house.
just be like,
same girl, same.
I would be so happy
darkness
in that
there.
house.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it. Honestly, though, like to your point, like him and his tattered t-shirts and stuff, he isn't understanding and valuing who he is. And even Riddler points that out, where he's like, I think, what was his riddle about mansions versus slums?
Right.
And it's like, you become an orphan and everybody cares, but you're just this billionaire in your ivory tower. And it's like, that is something that really needs to be spoken on. And that is even like pushed further in like a more like open space as far as Gotham as a whole, even when Catwoman makes that point of like, rich, privileged white guys run everything here and it's crap. And that is such a just great element.
America.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Which, thank you again for making Catwoman a POC. I feel like Catwoman should not ever be anything but a POC, like as far as who she is.
And she nailed it. Can we just talk about her performance? That was, I've spent loving Michelle Pfeiffer's version for years and years and years. But I mean, and no disrespect to Halle Berry, it's not really memorable for me.
That's not a Catwoman movie.
We can disrespect that movie. That's fine.
That's not a Catwoman movie.
That movie never came out. What are y'all talking about? Halle Berry
movie?
Catwoman? That movie never happened.
That's not
Stop your
Catwoman.
lies. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then like the only other Catwoman I can really, think back on is the one from Gotham, which was still, basically a child. And this girl, she's played in the MCU as well. Well, not the MCU, but the Marvel franchise of the X-Men. I believe she was Angel, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah.
But she's doing it all now.
Right. Well, she played Catwoman before. The voice of Catwoman in, was it 2017? It was the Lego Batman movie. She was Catwoman.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Oh, she was ready to go. She was primed. Yeah. She was primed.
She went in like, this me.
And I don't know, because Jazz, you did mention that you weren't like heavily into like the comics beforehand, but like it's actually a plot line in the comics that Falcone is her father.
Yes.
So it's very cool. I didn't mean to comic explain that to you. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Actually, but I think it's just so cool how many subtle little moments in this that prove that this film was more for the comic book fans than, than anything else. It was just like, oh, they even mentioned like Bloodhaven. It's like, oh,
right.
Oh.
I had a buddy of mine that's also in the business that was like, so when did they make Martha in Arkham? And I was like, that's happened years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's her maiden name. And he's like,
so
what?
good.
And I'm like, yeah.
I had forgot about that. They don't mention that so much. Like that gets swept under the rug so often. I was like, oh shit.
I do have to say that was brand new to me. I mean, brought up questions about other certain characters in this show, which I'm sure we'll get to.
I think that element was really important for me because I've actually hated Batman for a long time. Like this movie got me back on the Batman train. Now, for reasons, because so far there's nothing relatable for me to Batman. He's a rich white guy who, up until now, they've only portrayed him as someone who can procure his gadgets instead of making them. And also the fact that Bruce Wayne owns Arkham. So Batman is in this weird cycle of throwing criminals into Arkham so that they can break out again, even though he owns the building, so that he can just continue to have this weird cycle of his vigilante justice. And it's like,
America.
That's a weird, I don't know if I like that. So it was very cool for them to like go further into like, hey, there's actually mental illness in his family. Like Batman could actually be crazy.
Oh, he is crazy.
I mean, he probably is. Let's admit it here.
No, he is.
Could we say he's batshit crazy?
Oh,
he needs to work on his traumas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo, if he went to therapy, he would just quit being the Batman.
He would.
Like, I don't think therapists truly exist in Gotham.
That's why Hugo Strange is one of the most dangerous characters.
Strange.
Yeah, because he's the dude that'll talk to him, and Batman will be like, I guess I don't have to be Batman. He's like, but I'll be Batman now. You're like, that's weird. That is definitely weird.
To kind of go on the point of like the very small practicality, like his tattered t-shirts and stuff. One thing that I probably loved the most that they've never done in any Batman movie, they make it seem like when he takes the helmet off, the black paint goes with the mask. And I loved the fact that it stayed. Like I love the fact that it shows you like painting the black around his eyes, because every other Batman movie, like when the mask comes off, no back paints, nothing's there. I love that. And the fact, I know like when they had first casted the movie, everybody was like, oh, he's not big enough. He's not in shape. And then there were all those leaks about him not. I like the fact that he wasn't cut. Like you said, spoiled rich white kid with trauma. He not in the gym clanging and banging. Like he's not doing all that. And then it made sense.
It's a miracle he's not a like Dubbo.
Armor.
So.
Facts. And then I loved that the fact that he was so small, because it made the fact that the suit was so big, like, oh, you're compensating for the fact that you don't want to get your ass kicked. Like the shoulder pads and like the combat boots, loved it all.
He took all those hits.
He did.
Yo, when he hit himself with that adrenaline at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, that's brilliant. Some shit Batman would do.
Absolutely.
Who thinks that? Yo, I need a hole in my pants when I inject myself.
I'm gonna tell you who came up with that one. That definitely was Alfred, right?
100%.
Alfred was like, hey, listen. You ever been shot before? And he's like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. Okay. When you get shot, if it's bad enough, you're gonna need some adrenaline so you can get to somewhere. You're gonna need this. And that was one of the things I really liked about this in terms of the grounding of the training of the Batman. Yeah. He wasn't trained in so many different things. It was Alfred. Alfred was like, look, I have this skill set. Now you have this skill set. That's the best I can do. Like, I'm not a shit father. Okay. I'm not going to be able to raise you correctly because that's not me. I'm a killer. I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself.
That's Alfred.
Is this Batman supposed to have trained with the League of Shadows?
No.
I didn't think so, because he's very non-ninja-ish.
Like, but not ninja by way of being silent, but definitely if he was like, I've heard of the League of Shadows by way that he uses darkness, that is a very clever move. Like that was actually one of my favorite things storytelling wise of the setup of this concept of the city's reaction to the Batman. When the signal goes up, everybody has to look around in the dark. It's like, where is he?
Yep.
I know he's out here. Where? That's the question.
I love that scene when they're like looking down alleyways. They're like, oh, he's down there. I just know it.
I just know he's down there.
Loved it.
Loving
it. We didn't even talk about the Riddler yet. All this Batman love. We didn't give Paul Dano his flowers.
Can I say one more thing before we go to Riddler?
No, please do.
Just on the Batman topic is the fact that we got to actively see how much he distrusts the police. And the incompetency of Gotham PD and how like they're like turning to him when on the crime scene, like, oh, he looked at that. Maybe I should take a picture of that.
What did he see? You know, that I clearly did not pay attention to.
The comedy of the just bumbliness of Gotham PD because they're so ridiculously not good. Like when he wakes up in that room and they're all like, like they're yelling and chasing him as a mob. It's like, wait, what? Like we gotta clean this up.
They put lives at stake when they started shooting at him. Like they did not care who else was in that stairwell at all. I was like, yo, y'all are the worst cops ever.
They need help.
Ever.
I do call the whole chase out of GCPD. I do call bullshit that you go hide where the bat signal is. You don't think they know where that's at? I felt like that was kind of some bullshit that him and Gordon, he was like, yo, meet me in the secret spot, the giant spotlight with your symbol, meet me there. Like no one will know we're here.
Like you
can't I feel like you need a special code. You need a special code to get the elevator. They don't have the access code. That's what it is.
I got all right, solid.
We'll try to salvage that.
Oh man.
Cause when he was just like, yo, he's like, you got to get out of here. We'll meet. I was like, oh, they about to go to the secret spot. No. So where the signal's at.
Also, he did not pull that punch. He hit him hard. Because it's like, they got to respect for each other, but like he's gonna punch Gordon in the face. Like,
I mean, it was Gordon's fault for looking away. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Gordon looked away, and he was like,
"He didn't go slack."
Yeah.
He should have went slack.
He did.
Exactly. He did. He tensed up.
You told me to.
You got to go limber.
What are you talking about? That was one of my favorite lines. You could have pulled that punch. I did. You're like,
in his head when he hit him, he said, "Fuck 12."
So you said Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Oh,
that was real.
Great.
That was real. I liked it a lot. And just there's such a focus on how corrupt and traumatized Gotham is as a whole, which would bring someone like Riddler out. The segue into Riddler.
Man. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfection.
Paul Dano killed this, and I know him from like, it's funny because like I know him from like comedy movies, but like I wasn't like outraged when he got the part. I wasn't like, what? He can't do this. I was like, all right, cool. And then when they started like releasing like teaser stuff, I was like, oh, he about to kill this. He
scared me.
The breathing.
Yeah.
That last scene of his where he's face to face with Batman when he's locked up in Arkham, I was just like, this dude is fucking crazy. And I was here for it. Even his smile, it was just so sinister. It was dark and gritty, but again, there was something missing about it for me too, that I don't know, maybe I wanted the more goofy ass version of it.
It was the glasses on the outside, wasn't it? You could
I think so.
I like that part.
there was something necessary about it.
You know what it was? I think it was because I kept, every time I looked at him, I just saw this serial killer, and I'm trying to figure out like who he reminded me of. And I couldn't. I can't remember.
It was the Zodiac. Because the Zodiac.
Yeah, Zodiac. Exactly. Thank you.
Zodiac.
There are a few times in this film where it's like the Batman's theme. I guess, but it was very bum 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 bum.
Listen.
Oh, it's animated series.
My shit. I just started laughing so hard in the theater. I'm like,
oh, I cried tears of joy.
Like, it took me out of it again. Like it took me out of it because I'm here to watch the Batman, not Star Wars.
No, you gotta. Okay, wait. See,
animated series.
You gotta understand the subtext. Okay, this is. Excuse the expression. It's a Russian doll of context here. Okay,
he said ogres are like onions.
Yeah. Wait. Are you ready? Okay.
Hey.
So the song that you recognize, right, is called the Imperial March. What's one thing that we saw Batman do a bunch in this movie? March. This is what he would do out of the shot. See, you got to understand the storytelling.
Ooh, and penguin, emperor penguins.
What? You see what I'm saying?
What?
You see what I'm saying? What? Boom.
Leaning all the way into it.
You see? This is just a love letter.
The guy, the producer of the movie was the producer from Rogue One.
Oh, there you go.
See?
Who
the grittiest Star Wars movie.
But like I said, it just took me out of it. It took me out of the Batman.
No.
I love that song.
Hold it together, because again, you got to remember, like most people in their pop culture media understanding of Batman is from the Adam West show, which came out in what year? What year did that come out? 66.
Oh, almost
Order. 66. You see how you see how.
Whoa.
There you go.
Okay.
Phenomenological narratologist, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I just made that shit up, but it sounded good, didn't it? It sounded good.
Oh my.
Well, I'm gonna pick up this mic so you can drop it again, bro.
Oh Lord!
I'm not gonna believe everything you tell me now because you're just like making up shit over here.
What?
See, my thing is that the score made me think so much of the like 80s Batman and the animated series. Honestly, there was a part where Catwoman walked in and the music brought me back to Batman Returns. And yes, I love that. Especially like this movie felt so much like that energy I got from the animated series, which is my entire childhood. So it was like, it felt home. It felt like a comic book movie again. I was like, damn. Now, granted, like none of the other movies that they got in the works excite me in any way. Honestly, they should just put Reeves in charge of everything else from here on out. Like he James Gunned this movie. Like he James Gunn harder than James Gunn.
I see no lies here. I'm looking for him, but I don't see him.
3 hours long though, because that was tough. No, but I mean, like there were times where there were just scenes that felt like they just went on and on and on. I'm like, really? Do we?
I mean,
it just. When I got back, I wrote on my Facebook page, "Who does Matt Reeves think he is?" The Russo brothers. Referencing Endgame.
We all saw it.
And the guy, James Cameron, the guy from Titanic, which was also like a 3 hour long movie. And I mean, I can't really defend the Titanic film, but to be fair,
no one can. Not even Cameron. He can't defend that no more.
For Endgame being 3 hours long, I mean, we spent years getting to know these characters. So it was like a giant payoff from all of the films before. And like in comes like this film noir version of the Batman, which is great. It's great, but it was like 3 hours long. And it was just like, I honestly felt like some scenes could have been cut for time.
What's your top one?
I don't even remember because, like I said, I was just sitting there like almost falling asleep a couple of times.
It felt like it flowed like a comic book. Like there are 4 like distinct arcs in this, and honestly, like every time we flowed into a scene, because it had. I mean, you're completely valid. I understand your point 100%. I love long movies. Like I will sit through Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I mean, I absolutely love long movies. Yeah. I'm not hating long movies. Like I could sit through another hour or 2 of Avengers Endgame if they wanted to, and I would do it happily. Okay. Yeah. I don't have a problem with long movies. It was just, I don't know. It didn't feel like they needed to have those ongoing conversations for that long, explaining everything. I guess.
I will say, Jazz, to your point, and I know why it was done, because like we said, he wasn't the best. Him having to go back to the Iceberg Lounge was the funniest shit to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like my man, go back
twins
to like
progressively getting more beat up every time.
Like I get that was to show like, oh, he doesn't really have this. Like he's not the guy. But I do get like the repeated like, oh, I'm here again. It's like, oh, again. Like, why are you back? Why do the twins keep? They don't got a peek. They don't know like, oh, it's him again. Let me not.
No. They got to build that next time. Next time they're gonna. Yeah.
Were they not?
The fact is that we got the Reeves cut for the actual cut of the film. Basically,
I mean, is that bad though?
Honestly, though, I wanted to live in those scenes because it's like you got to see more of Gotham and more of how things worked, and it really made me hungry for more. Like I could watch hours of like Penguin or hours of Falcone doing stuff.
I absolutely love the Penguin. That was probably my honest to God my favorite villain.
Yeah, the HBO Max show is going to be fire. I'm so excited for that.
Dude, Colin Farrell.
No, that's not who that was.
He's a gem. That was Oswald
Cobblepot. That performance, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, whoever gets that reference, you're welcome.
That was crazy. Like just everything. Like prosthetics in 2022 are crazy. I was like, wild.
At this point, you can't even be like, well, you don't embody the character. Yes, I do. Yes,
I literally
yes, I do.
He was wobbling like a penguin.
There were times where I was like, am I watching Danny DeVito's version right now?
Listen, my whole projection was Colin Farrell as Robert De Niro as it was so many different layers to it where I'm just like, I don't even know who I'm looking at right now other than Oswald Cobblepot. Like that's who that is.
Someone made a point to say that they used all those prosthetics to make him look like an actor that looks exactly identical to that. I forget the actor's name, but there's somebody in Hollywood that looks exactly like that they could. They're like, why didn't they just cast him? But it's like he doesn't have the range. Clearly,
like
that's key.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, Colin can play like that borderline psychotic, bad guy person. We've seen him do it. So the other guy was probably just too nice. He was like, I'm a penguin. Hey, I do crime. You're like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. Not at all. What would you guys do? Like if you were at the club that night when Batman first showed up and he starts wrecking shop, like, do you leave?
I grab a drink. I grab a drink and post up.
Would you?
Yes.
I would be one of those dudes. I would definitely get kicked out because I would start talking shit to the club security. He whooped your ass. Like, how you feel?
He throws someone across the bar and I just lift the drink up and just...
Like, hey.
Okay, so wait. To your question, would it be me as a character in Gotham or me in Gotham?
You are a Jazz is a Gothamite. How does Jazz react?
Well, if I was like a Gothamite, I would be thrown over there with Bendy with a drink, honest to God. But if it was me in my real life, I'd get the hell out of there for sure.
No, chilling. And then as soon as someone gets knocked out at my feet, I'm rooting through those pockets. Okay. All right. Dungeons and Dragons rules. I
didn't want to be that guy and say that I'm going to be
It's Gotham.
No, I'm definitely reaching behind the bar and pouring my own drink. So like, all this chaos.
Got some bottles on the way out, looking like what's his name, Jimmy Buffett in Jurassic Park.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's amazing.
Running out the door, clink, 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 clink.
Listen, if you're already in that club, you're already up to no good. So if I rob you, like it's really like it's doing a service at that point. I mean, like I'm gonna Robin Hood you in the middle of the club after Batman like busted you up.
definitely if Batman beats you up, then you're clearly a bad guy and you deserve to get your pockets taken. That's just fair. That's
like the cardinal rule.
It'd be wrong if I didn't rob you. Like,
exactly.
What are we really doing here?
Is that an unwritten rule in Gotham? If you find the remnants of a Batman assault and you want to check their pockets, Bats is already gone. He ain't circling back around.
You've already got him tied up waiting for Gotham PD, and you're just like,
let me get up here. What size shoe you wear, dog? Yeah, no,
platinum card. How'd you get a platinum card?
Just saying.
While he's strung up, just take it.
This is 100% me as if I lived in Gotham, not me out in these streets.
Of course,
Bendy.
of course.
In case the fence is listening.
This is all hypothetical for laughs.
By the way, the actor that he looked like, his name is Richard Kind.
Oh, yeah.
Identical.
See, Vic, what'd you say? You said he was too nice.
Too kind. He was too kind. Like, listen to him.
Too kind.
He walked in. He's like, "Hi guys,
my name's Oz."
I'm Ozzy. They call me Penguin.
Ozzy P for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Or no, he's always correcting people. No, it's Oswald. It's Oswald.
That's exactly what he does.
It's like no, it's Ozzy. No.
He said, whoa, Mr.
I'm in my Oswald season. Hi, in this season of my life, I'm Oswald.
I like that. That. Yeah.
That's definitely what he would have said.
Yeah. I worked too hard to be considered an Aussie, okay?
Yeah.
You know.
It was just so good. And then Totoro as Falcone. Woo, he looked old. I'm sorry. He's getting up there and I love it. He's reaching that next phase of his career.
Yeah.
You know.
He been old since Transformers 1.
Also true. Also true.
He's just old. Certain actors are just old.
Yeah.
Did you guys have the fear, and I'm not saying feeling, I'm literally calling it the fear, that until Selena revealed who she was, that he was going to try to smash his daughter? Because definitely that welled up in me.
The moment he talked to her, I was uncomfortable. I was triggered by the way he addressed her in the club. I didn't like it. I was like,
very predatory.
He
has killed women, and it confirmed.
Regularly.
I felt that way also when we first saw Riddler after he killed the mayor, and we had that very awkward shot where he's fumbling for the tape, and then the way he kind of leans back, and you're like,
all right. So I have not seen The King's Man, but I have seen the scene where Rasputin is like tonguing someone's wound, and it's very erotic for no reason. That energy came with me into that moment, and I was like, what is this movie and where is it going? Like, uncomfortable. Just
I had pure terror. I've never been so relieved for tape to be drawn in my life. Like,
we had no idea where this was going.
Because I like the way they show him fumbling for his pants, and then it starts to pan up, and he like leans back, and I'm like, bro,
and he's breathing, and I'm like,
you had to do the wikis, like, I thought they didn't get approved for the
right,
doesthedogdie.com.
Like, I thought this was PG-13. Like, what's happening here?
When that tape came out, I was like, oh, okay. Wow.
The family next to you as a kid, you cover their eyes.
Right, like, nah, bro. Don't even.
Don't look.
Charged. It was a charged movement.
It was. Now, it's bad. I watched the second time in a private screening with my family, and my son.
I know, humble stunt.
Humble brag. Humble king. But my son, who'll be 18 in just a few weeks, was like, bruh, like he audibly, like, and so visceral. It was something. Yeah, like, I mean, we're not even talking about like from my grown-up mind, and I understand what that looks like. Here's my kid that's like, hey man, hey, and he said in front of his grandmother, so it was real.
I wonder if it was like something to maybe desensitize the viewer to like, or even like just kind of put you in that headspace of like uncomfortable, like what the rest of the movie is going to play out to be. Like psychologically, I feel like that might have been a move on purpose to like really mess with our heads going forward.
I can see that.
Whole opening scene is just like the heavy breathing and him looking through the binoculars.
So like uncomfortable. Ave Maria underscoring it. I'm like,
oh, yes.
With the security guard sleep outside, like he lost his job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You'll never work in this town again.
Never.
No, he's a henchman now.
In fact, he has.
They recruited him as a henchman somewhere.
He has to be.
He went to go work in the club and got beat up the next day. Like that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. That's wild.
What's his name? Sarsgaard? Peter Sarsgaard randomly as the DA. Amazing. Like killed it. Like really nailed that uncomfortable energy. Like very like you could tell he was on drugs. And the way that he was paranoid and speaking to her, and it was just very uncomfortable again. And it just was such a great tone for Gotham as a whole.
I do think Gotham is the hidden gem secret character of this entire movie. A lot of times, you'll hear people say like in Batman, Gotham is a character. This really made it so where it hit on every level. You saw the New York style of Gotham. You saw the Chicago style of Gotham. You saw the seaport style of Gotham. All of it really worked really well to say, this is a real place that if you visit, you might not make it home. That's just what it is.
And to that point of when Alfred's talking about the parents getting shot, it's like it could have been a hit, could have been a random person on the side of the street. You don't know.
Right.
He said, that's Gotham.
It's 11.
Yeah. We say Gotham. We say Gotham. That's what it is.
Got them. I was going to say, you saw how on Celine. Yeah, go to your father's house.
You don't do that here. No.
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 Nay.
Oh, that's my bad. I'm sorry. I just threw the whole train off.
I was gonna to the Gotham part. Did you see how like on Selena's like past due bills, like it said like Gotham USA? Like there's like no state. Just Gotham.
No. Gotham Energy.
It's its own place.
Well, that's also in the Harley Quinn series when like everything goes to literal like hell in Gotham. The United States are like, you're no longer part of us. So it's not even like a state, like it's just the entity of Gotham. That was just like,
Right. And that's a throwback to the 90s No Man's Land story arc where there was the earthquake and the US was like, no help.
Bye.
Nope, you're done.
Hey, we was waiting for that. We was waiting for that earthquake.
Bruce got it. Come on, man.
This is perfect.
Look, Gotham doesn't contribute to the rest of us, so.
Right. There's so much with this movie, though, that is fascinating. I feel like as the story continues, again, using the Russian egg, sort of analogy, that it brings you down and then you have to crawl back up on the other side because it creates this mystery, and then there's a mystery within the mystery, and then there's another mystery that still kind of builds up. And one of the things that so I've seen it twice, and I didn't see any actual acknowledgement that Riddler is the son of the reporter who died. They didn't actually say it. And I thought that was one of the most smartest things possible, to just give you all the clues and go, now you figure it out.
Yeah. Like the reveal in the diner, like when he turns, just like same haircut, same glasses, and it's just like, that's Gotham.
Yep.
So, that scene, oh gosh, I wish I wrote it down, that there's a hidden Easter egg to I'm gonna have to look it up, because the street that he's on is the name of another creator within the Batman universe. And the whole like Riddler arc of him planting the bomb was like in this like series, I think back in the 70s or something like that like you can't even find anymore. Like there's so many like hidden layers of like, I'm a true Batman fan. Here's a Batman movie from the director.
But Vic, like to your point, like we all know that Edward Nygma's like a forensic accountant and all that stuff, but I love how they don't harp on that, and they kind of like give you the tools to figure out how did he figure out all these people were dirty, because he was in charge of the book. He was in charge of the books.
He saw where the money was going.
Yep. Like, yeah, I definitely the subtleties in this movie I enjoyed. Like we were talking about, like the nonverbals, here's the clues, figure it out. There was a theory before the movie came out that like Riddler was like a love child of Thomas Wayne's, and it was like a half sibling. And I was kind of hoping that might have been it.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that before you kind of brought it up. The point that when we learned that Martha was basically in Arkham, because she was crazy, it's like, oh, that's going to either be a full blood relative who's just nuts, or going to be his half brother on Martha's side.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad.
I heard that theory too. I was going to bring that one up.
I wouldn't have been mad at that. I mean, there's still
Right.
kind of room for it, maybe.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
You finished the after credit scene, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you went through the whole process online and solved the clues and riddles.
Yeah, the
Ooh, I haven't done
cipher.
that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. I got to.
Oh.
I
haven't
got
done
out
it
of
yet
it at 2
either.
a.m. last night.
Okay, that's fair. Well, because in terms of what you're talking about, this familiar connection is hinted at as the next storyline. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's all I'll say.
He had him sweating. All right, he needs a
in
new
the
bat
prison
suit.
scene?
Him
In the
sweating.
prison,
We all were sweating.
Yo,
edge of my seat. Edge of my seat. I'm like, yo.
how he kept like turning to look at the camera, like, yo, he's about to snitch on me, dog.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I gotta kill this man. Like now I gotta kill you.
That's what I felt it was, Bendy. I was like,
Yeah.
he's seriously like, I might have to
I might have to kill this man.
I might have to just do.
Just took the camera up.
You know what I'm saying? Just something.
He
Well,
said,
I'm
"What
sure
do
he
I
can get
have
away
in
with
my
it because
belt?"
he owns all of Gotham basically anyway. So he had to.
He will though. He hasn't figured that out yet. That's part of the next move where Bruce Wayne starts buying stuff, and then he's like, "Let me just wait. That's not a Wayne Tech camera. That's gonna be yep, because we're gonna need to see into that."
It's
Turn that off.
Tech right now, apparently.
Stark Tech.
I'm telling you, like that's what's about to happen.
Yo,
He's about to start buying up all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
When he said that line, like when you thought that he was about to like reveal, and he was like, "We almost had him." I was like, "Oh my god, thank God."
Yeah, for real.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Panic attack. Like Batman having an internal anxiety moment of like, oh god.
Yo,
For all of us.
you saw like the sigh of relief, like, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to get a new suit."
Right.
I mean, that's twice he almost gave himself away. Like he did it with Catwoman when she was like, "Oh, Thomas and Bruce Wayne." He's like, bruh.
What about
you know me? I mean,
you're at a 10, be at a 2, okay?
Facts. His poker face was trash.
Right. It's also how you know
experience.
League of Assassins. He hasn't learned from them yet.
Yeah,
they would have been like,
he ain't get there yet.
I don't know who that is. Bruce Wayne. What is that? What's a Bruce Wayne?
You know a trope that I'm tired of in Batman movies. I'm sick of the deer in the headlight reaction Gordon has when he finds out the cops are dirty in Gotham. I'm so sick of that. Like, bro, you're in it, and he's so surprised. Every movie, every show, every property. What? They've been doing this?
That's why the best Gordon is from the Harley Quinn show. You've got like a person who's got a little bit too much whiskey in their coffee cup, just frazzled, just completely done with it all. Like that's the Jim Gordon. Like everything is terrible. He doesn't sleep with bats. Like he doesn't do that. Like just unhinged Commissioner Gordon.
It's amazing. Like, there's so many things we didn't touch on. The
we gotta do a part 2.
Car chase.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I'm good. Maybe I'll go put myself through the torture and go watch it again and get prepared for part 2.
Take a nap first.
Yeah.
So
you're well rested.
Yeah.
All right, group decision, part 2. Let's get it.
Part 2. Let's go.
So for those of you who are here in part 1, the voice of God has told us that we need to wrap this bad boy up. So we'll go in reverse order from brown skin to light skin. We'll switch it up.
Yes.
I have been Mr. Matthew Porter. You can find me at Matthew Porter on Facebook, _menace2 sobriety on Instagram, and here with these beautiful people and writing things on Fandom Spotlight and doing a lot of dope shit with the people that I like, who like the same type of shit that I like. You dig me? Take it away, Mr. Dandridge.
I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. You guys can find me through my imprint, Vantage and House Productions, producing some of the best comic books that you've never read. So get on that, change your game. And also, You Create Comics. That's the letter U, CRE, 8 comics.com, where we're teaching you how to make your own comics from start to finish, bringing comics and education together like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Ooh. What kind of jelly, though? That's what I want to know.
It depends. It depends on your mood, right? Sometimes it's grape. Sometimes it's strawberry, right? Sometimes it's both.
Preserve.
Sometimes it's both, though. When you get that paycheck and you want to go ahead and splurge a little bit.
That's when you get the preservative.
I'm still on my goobers. I'm still on my goobers.
I ain't mad at those. I ain't mad at those.
Oh boy. Hey, hello there. Hi, I'm Bendy. You can find me on Twitter as Bendy Dinosaurs. You can find me on Instagram as Belladonna Cosplay. I am so happy to be here with these folks. I just started writing with Fandom Spotlight. I'm going to be doing cons with them as well. So thank you so much. Yay.
And I have been Jazz, obviously. You can find me at Roasting Widow. And last thing I have to say about this, since it needs to be said for part one, if we end up doing part two, I'm sure you guys haven't noticed this, but there was a 4A Requiem piece in Paradisium that they played, and I screamed because that is what I'm performing like in a couple of weeks. So at Carnegie Hall, no less. So
there you go.
Accolades.
That's right.
Flex on
Roundabout
Jazz. Flex on.
Flex.
That's right.
Manifesting. We'll see y'all part two.
See part two.
Hi, this is Maisie Richardson-Sellers, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be a legend and hit that like button, and most importantly, have fun and follow your fandom.